There's been a lot of controversy recently over Microsoft's recent unveil of their latest video game console, for lack of a better term, the Xbox One. An all-in-one entertainment system, that's where you done goofed, Microsoft. It's clear now, after seeing Microsoft's presentation last week, that they're trying to take the Xbox in a completely new direction. Instead of being a video game console, the system will be more focused on just entertainment in general: television, movies, video games, internet. And what Microsoft wants you to do with this system is to basically have all your entertainment needs in one spot. Now, while that all-in-one entertainment system idea might sound pretty fantastic, and there is a certain demographic of people that can really benefit from having an Xbox One in their house, this presentation certainly did not cater to gamers. I think a part of the reason why the Xbox 360 is so successful is because it focuses all its energy on one thing: video games. I mean, sure, the Xbox 360 has Netflix and, music and video and stuff like that, but the real innovation comes from the Xbox Live marketplace. Indie games, arcade games, full games, Xbox Live, multiplayer has never been more accessible. That's why you love Xbox, everything Microsoft and everything video games is right at your fingertips. And now that Microsoft is sort of taking the Xbox in a new direction, they're plugging in a bunch of new features that make the console more accessible to everybody and not just gamers. While it is awesome that Microsoft has found a new platform with which to pull in new demographics of people besides gamers, in order to plug those new functions in, you have to take out some of the old ones, and that alienates the gamer. Like I said, the big new feature that Microsoft is pushing with the Xbox One is the idea of the all-in-one entertainment system. They want you to be able to flip between television and internet and video games as fast as possible and without a remote. Again, sounds like a really cool idea, and for some people it will be a really fantastic device to have in your home, but for me personally, I've always found that it's always better to have a bunch of individual devices with specific functions rather than one big all-in-one device. This is going to be a pretty weird example, but I think social networking sites fit really well with this idea. You got Facebook, right? It's a social networking platform where you have a profile and you can post pictures and status updates and videos and everything. Everything you need in a social networking website is basically all there in Facebook. But then you have something like Twitter, which is clearly not as diverse as Facebook. There's so much stuff you can do and so many features on Facebook that are absent on Twitter. In fact, Twitter is limited completely to status updates. However, since Twitter is limited to that one thing, status updates, they can focus on it a lot more and make it better. Twitter has this one thing and it focuses on this one thing, and it does this one thing better than Facebook does, so that's why nowadays you see more people updating their thoughts on Twitter than on Facebook. It's the same with Instagram. You can't do much on Instagram, but you can do everything pictures on Instagram. Instagram does pictures better than Facebook. That's why more people update their pictures on Instagram rather than on Facebook. And now we even have stuff like Vine, which is an extension of Twitter, which is now the thing that focuses on videos. In this situation, it looks like Microsoft is trying to make the Xbox One like the Facebook, while the PlayStation 4 is going to be a Twitter or Instagram. At this presentation, Microsoft showed off a lot of cool features about the Xbox One. It's not a piece of garbage. They proposed the idea of voice control and your hands working with the Kinect to move things instead of using a remote control. That's cool. Now, with certain things, being able to say Xbox Snap and moving things into new windows is a cool idea, but I hope they don't overuse the Kinect when it comes to stuff like video games. When I'm playing a game, I'm in the zone, I only want to be using my controller. I don't want to have to shout things at my Xbox, I don't want to have to use my hand motions for anything. I think gaming companies may have reached sort of an apex with motion gaming. They've realized that it's not the way of the future, and people don't want it. Even so, Microsoft is really pushing this new version of the Kinect with the Xbox One. Allegedly, it has to be connected to your system to even turn on. That's another really valid complaint that I've seen about the Xbox One. People don't want to have mandatory things attached to their system. You want control. I don't want to be forced to say the words Xbox on to get the system to power up. I want the option of a button. There's also a bunch of rumors I've heard going around that the Xbox One can detect when you put a used game in your system, and if you pop in a used game, the Xbox won't let you play it until you pay a fee to Microsoft. That's just BS. There's no reason for that to be a feature. You're just limiting the freedom of a gamer, and stuff like this Kinect always on, always watching you, and used game recognition, it just makes these problems stand out like a sore thumb. Another cool little twist on the all-in-one system idea that Microsoft announced at the presentation was the idea of Snap. You can talk to your console, you say Xbox Snap, and then you can effectively run two different things on different sides of the television screen. Again, a very cool idea, but it also plays into my problem with the idea of the all-in-one entertainment system. Sure, it would be cool if I could watch Star Trek on one side of the screen while surfing Internet Explorer on the other, but I can't really think of any situation where I wouldn't rather be watching the movie on the TV screen and surfing the internet on my computer. For me personally, it's just more useful, familiar, and convenient to have a TV that can be my movie machine and a computer that could be my internet machine. Separate machines that both focus on individual specific functions, and they do it perfectly. Now, I know the internet is in sort of a hate everything Microsoft mode right now, but I do understand where they're trying to take the Xbox. The Xbox just isn't specifically for gamers anymore. Microsoft clearly wants to cater to a much broader audience, which I guess is fine. There is a very large demographic of people who would find the all-in-one entertainment system a very convenient thing to have. But for me personally, and for a lot of gamers, it just wasn't the thing we expected. We wanted a focused game machine, not an all-in-one machine. As a matter of fact, it looks like Sony is sort of adopting the game-centric focusedness that made the Xbox 360 so popular and injecting it into the PlayStation 4. I was always a PlayStation loyalist growing up, so who knows, by the time holiday 2013 rolls around, maybe I'll be running back into the sweet, sweet arms of Sony's PlayStation 4. We'll see.